Hi everyone, Linda Hart with Century 21 Jim White in Treasure Island. Hope you're having a great day. So I'm starting off a series. This is going to be every Thursday, 3-question Thursday. And it's going to be questions that I get asked frequently. And eventually I'm going to ask you to submit questions weekly just so I can have more questions to answer so I can educate everybody. Just answer questions that you're curious about. So I'm asked these questions pretty frequently, so I just figured for my first one I would try to address it. So the first one is, what is the difference between hiring a realtor to buy a home or using a service such as Opendoor, OfferPad, or a limited listing service? So there's a big difference. The OfferPads and the Opendoors provide basically offers on your home, and usually they'll give you a number based on the condition that they think it is. Sometimes they'll go out, and sometimes they just will look it up on the property records or whatever, and they'll give you an offer based on the market value that they think your property's worth. And you get an offer written in writing, and you can choose to accept it, and basically they buy your property and then they either improve it or they market it to sell it. But there are some things that I've researched that they do that are not really made public, or they don't really talk about. So just a couple of things. They do an inspection, and once that inspection happens, they give you a laundry list of things that need improvements or whatever, and they deduct off of that offer. These are, $5,000 off for whatever, paint peeling or whatever it is, roof improvements, aged appliances or whatever it is. And so then your offer becomes, say it's $199,000, then it becomes $158,000 or whatever it is, just random numbers. Anyway, so that offer may not be what you expected, and then I don't think you're locked in. I think it's a contract, and just read the fine print. But that's what I know about it. I don't know a ton, but I can speak more to what having an agent does for you when you buy a property. Hiring a realtor such as myself, or someone who's a licensed realtor in your area, you're gonna get professionalism, hopefully, good communication, but most of all, you're gonna get representation. So many people don't think about when you're working with an agent, they're not just there to give you a property tour. They're there to, they're not just there to drive you around and show you pretty houses. They're there to educate you, tell you about the stuff you don't see online, things from their experience that they might be able to educate you on, the type of loan you might be able to get for this particular house. This house won't pass VA because there's a cracked window or peeling paint or whatever it is. So you're going to get experience. You're going to get, firsthand knowledge of the different financing options that this particular home might qualify for, what you can and can't do. Also, their database of their people that they use, referrals, inspections, roofers, plumbers, electricians. Usually an agent who's been in the business for at least a few months, if not years, has an arsenal of people that they work with that they can refer you to, and they hopefully will do a good job. So that's part of the representation. The biggest part, though, and that I don't think people think about, is when you're buying or when you're selling a home, when you go with a real estate agent like myself, sorry, brain blip there, you get representation for you. So as your agent, I would represent your best interest. So I look after you. I advise you on pricing. I give you good inspectors. We look at everything. You make the decisions, but I advise you as to what my experience tells me, should happen. So, and you can choose to follow or not follow. So really, representation in my eyes is I've got your back. So that's that. And then with those other services, like with the Opendoors and their limited listing services, or usually those services don't help you buy homes. That's more for listing homes. But when you have those kinds of services, they don't really represent you as the seller. They're trying to buy your home, and they're trying to get the best deal for it. So yes, they want to sell your home, but they're not after getting you the best price. So as a listing agent, I would come in and tell you the market value, and I would research it and pull the comps and put it in my spreadsheet and make sure that you're gonna, they give you a realistic price, not over the top and not, way under market value. So you just get somebody who represents your best interests. So that's question number 1. Question 2 is, will I get a better deal if I skip using or hiring an agent to buy a home and go straight to the listing agent? Sometimes people think that they'll get a better deal if they just go straight to the listing agent. Good question. I hear it a lot. I don't think so. The reason why is the seller has their price. Their agent, who they've hired, has told them what price that you should buy it for. If you come in and try to use that same agent that they have hired to sell your house, they can't influence you either way. In Florida, you have to be neutral if you get the buyer and you bring the buyer to the seller as the listing agent. So they have to be neutral. They can't advise you on, you have to basically come in with what you think it should be, and then you, as the listing agent / buyer agent, you have to present that to the seller and not advise the seller, yeah, the buyer, wants to, they'll go $5,000 less or whatever it is. So you have to be neutral. So as the buyer going in, you're not represented. Again, the listing agent has not signed anything that they're going to work in your best interests. They've been hired by the seller. So the seller has them working for them. So the agent that you go to, the listing agent, doesn't have any loyalty to you to get you the best price. Their job is to get the seller the best price. So, but again, they have to be neutral. So I say, hire an agent. You'll have somebody on your side looking after your best interests, and they can advise you without hesitation. So that's my advice. 3rd question, don't all realtors do the same work? How do you tell who will do the best job? This one is a tricky one because there are a lot of realtors out there, and there are a lot of, people that are that are better at social media, and they get out there, or they're better at sales, or they try and guilt you or scare you into listing or buying with them. And I feel like if somebody's trying to scare you, or they're trying to pressure you into working with them, then I wouldn't want to work with somebody like that. That's just me. I think that if you like them and you trust them, then you should give them your business if you feel comfortable with that. If you don't feel comfortable, you just need to go with your gut. So, and the truth is, no, they're not all created. We're not all created equal. We all communicate differently. We, some text only, some call only. And I always try to ask my clients or potential clients, if I'm going to work with them or when I first meet them, how do you like to communicate? Are you a texter? Do you like email? Would you rather me just call you? So I just try to always see what their comfort level is and go with that. And I make a note of it so I know not to do what they don't want me to do. Realtors, their jobs, if you're working with them on the listing side, their job is to make you feel comfortable and make you really see the true reality of the price or the market value of your home. And if they try to sell you a bunch of fluff and say, oh, we can get this much money for your house, and they can't back it up with comps, or they can't explain how they're going to get it sold, then maybe you should keep looking or talk to your friends, get referrals. Everybody knows a realtor, so talk to them. Find out, who do you know that's a good agent? I love to get referrals. So if my friends and family or people that I've worked with refer me out, I always tend to do a great job. I mean, I do a good job anyway, but I tend to really want to do a good job because somebody referred me, and I want them to look good as well as myself. So ask for referrals. And then lastly, communication is probably the biggest thing, and I've dealt with some agents as an agent that really lack in the communication department. So I would definitely not only is pricing your property good, but when you're working with a buyer's agent, just, you know, keeping up to date on what's happening with the contract. When's our inspection period over? Are they, you know, are the buyers going to make the repairs? Do we get that in writing? You know, those kinds of things. So, or the sellers, excuse me. So those kinds of things I think are important in an agent, and no, they're not all, we don't all work the same. So feel comfortable with the person that you're working with. Know that there are a lot of us out there, and there's a lot of competition. There's enough people out there to help everybody, and you know, somebody's going to work better with a one personality type than I am. I may not be the best agent to work with you. So there's somebody out there for everybody, and there's plenty of us who do a good job. And so those are my 3 questions and my thoughts. So if you have any comments, please feel free to call me or email me. My email is realtoratheart@gmail.com, and my phone number is 727-452-2997. For next week, if you all could email, again, that's realtor@heart, realtor, ATHART, @gmail.com. Submit a question, and I'll try to get it in there for my next week's video. I hope you guys have a great day. Be kind. Have a great one.